data. Can you guys tell me that how did we report the raw data for dichotomous outcomes? The two values which we had in each group that we used to that we would extract in the data extraction for dichotomous outcomes. Can you guys tell me? Event and total, exactly, Sonia. They were event and total, yes. Now, continuous outcomes are basically reported in a different way, okay? They are reported in the form of mean, standard deviation, and sample size, okay? They're reported usually in the form of mean, standard deviation, and sample size. And then there are again slight variations. You could have standard error, or you could have median, or you could have interquartile ranges, okay? But when you enter the values on RevMan, you usually enter them in the form of mean, sample size, and standard deviation or standard error. Okay. So the first point over here to note down is if your continuous outcomes are presented in the form of mean, you will convert them to mean. Okay. Median values you cannot enter into RevMan. That is the first point for you guys to note over here. Median values you cannot enter into RevMan. You need your values as mean, standard deviation, and sample size. Okay, yes, I will be repeating this again and again. The raw data for your continuous outcome is presented in the form of mean, standard deviation, and sample size. Okay, for now, forget the events in total. You have mean, standard deviation, and sample size. You enter your values in RevMan in this format, in the form of mean, standard deviation, and sample size, okay? The effect sizes for continuous outcomes are two. We have two effect sizes for continuous outcomes. Again, what are the effect sizes? The final value that we get in the end, the pooled result. How is it presented for continuous outcomes? It is presented in the form of weighted mean difference and standard mean difference. Okay, what are the two effect sizes? Weighted mean difference and standard mean difference, right? You guys get these 2 points. Raw data is present in the form of mean, standard deviation, and sample size. And the effect sizes, we have two effect sizes, which are weighted mean difference and standard mean difference. Is this clear? Just understand these two things for now. Okay? I want everyone to respond, please, so that I can know. This is a difficult concept. Continuous outcomes are difficult to grasp, so I want everyone to respond over here. Okay, yes, exactly. Okay, guys. Now, how do we know when to use weighted mean difference and when to use standard mean difference? Okay, now these are two confusing things. That when do we use weighted mean difference and when do we use standard mean difference? Now, continuous outcome can have a unit of conversion. For example, if you have height, can you guys tell me that in which units can you measure height of a height? Height could be for anything. It could be for of a neonate, of an elderly person. But what are the units you can use to measure height? Feet, other than feet, meter, feet, inches, centimeter, exactly. So there are multiple units of measuring height. Now, can you guys tell me, can you convert these units into each other? Are these units interconvertible? Can you convert meter? Can you convert meter to inches, or can you convert centimeter to meter? Yes, you can. Okay. So basically, if the units are interconvertible, we use weighted mean difference. Okay. If the units for the continuous outcome are interconvertible, you use weighted mean difference. For example, weight is another example. Weight can be measured in pounds, it can be measured in grams, it can be measured in kilograms, but the units are interconvertible. So what will be the effect size that you will be using for weight? If you're calculating the weight, what will be the effect size? Weighted mean difference, exactly. Now I'll give you guys another example. For example, we are measuring the level of cholesterol in the body. Okay. So can you guys tell me what units I could use for measuring cholesterol in the body? Milligram per dl. You guys could use gram per dl as well, and milligram per liter as well. Okay. Again, are these units interconvertible? Can you convert different units for measuring cholesterol? Can you convert these units into one another? Yes, you can convert them. So again, you will use weighted mean difference. Okay. Is this point clear? So again, raw data in someone asked me to repeat. Raw data in continuous outcomes is reported in the form of mean, standard deviation, and sample size. This is what we enter on DREFMAN. The effect sizes for continuous outcomes are weighted mean difference and standard mean difference. Weighted mean difference is used when the outcomes have a unit of conversion that is interconvertible. Okay, clear? The next effect size is standard mean difference. Now, when do we use standard mean difference? This is used when the different units are not interconvertible. Basically, standard mean difference is used when your outcome is measured on a scale. Okay, for example, diabetic foot severity. There are two scales for diabetic. Okay, forget this example. I'll give you guys a simple example. For example, pain intensity. Measuring pain intensity. You guys must have noticed whenever you go to a patient, you ask them how much pain do you have. You ask them to rate it on a scale of 1:10. That on a scale of 1:10, can you tell me how much pain do you feel? Another study might have healthcare workers who assess the pain on level of 1:5. That on a scale of 1:5, can you tell me how much pain do you feel? Another study may have measured pain intensity from 1:50. Then on a scale of 1:50, can you tell me how much pain can you feel? Now, can you guys tell me, are these scales interconvertible? Can you convert these scales into one another? No, you cannot convert these scales into one another. Okay. For example, measuring the cognition, there are multiple. One is MMSE, the another one is it was a mini cog assessment scale. These two scales, you cannot convert one scale into another. Diabetic foot severity is measured by the Wegner scale and the Texas scale. You cannot convert one scale into another scale. Okay. Another example I can give you guys for this is, for example, I'll give you guys another example. Now, let me know if you will use weighted mean difference for this or will you use standard mean difference for this. Okay. For example, there is a study that has used levels of, that is assessing heart failure. Okay, no, not heart failure, that is assessing MI. And in assessing MI, the marker that it used was, one study used CKMT, the other study used troponin I, the third study used troponin T levels. Can you guys tell me, are these levels interconvertible? CKMT, troponin I, troponin T. They're not interconvertible. So what will be the effect size that you will be using over here? Standard mean difference. Excellent. So do you guys get the difference between weighted mean difference and standard mean difference? Is this clear to everyone? That when do you use weighted and when do you use standard mean difference? Exactly. So that's as simple as that. Basically, if you have a unit of conversion, then you use weighted mean difference because you can convert units into one another. But if there is a specific scale for measuring something, for example, sleep quality, there are many scales for measuring the sleep quality. Okay, some people have sleep diaries, some people use other methods. There are so many methods of calculating this quality of sleep. But again, those scales are not interconvertible. So if you are measuring the sleep quality, you will be using standard mean difference. Okay. Ahmed Ali Khawaz, you do not need to know the definition or the concept behind standard deviation. Okay, it is basically a standard deviation. Again, I'll just give you guys a very basic knowledge about standard deviation. Standard deviation is denoted by a plus minus value. Okay, and it just tells us that how much the value deviates from the mean. Okay, again, it's a statistical term. You don't need to know it for now. Whatever information you need for it, I will be explaining it further. Okay, just for now, I need you guys to tell me that if you understand this slide. Is this slide clear to everyone? Is this slide clear to everyone? Now look at this. This is how weighted mean difference, 95% confidence interval. This is how RefMan basically shows you the result. Okay, when you create a forest plot in RefMan for continuous data, this is the final effect size that you have. So you guys can see that the mean difference has a negative value. Now, this is something new. While discussing dichotomous outcomes, we saw that can you guys tell me, will dichotomous outcomes effect size, will it ever be negative? Can it be negative? Dichotomous outcomes, have we seen a negative effect size? No, you will not see a negative effect size for dichotomous outcomes, but you can see and you will see a negative effect size for continuous outcomes, okay? So the effect size for continuous outcomes, that is weighted mean difference and standard mean difference, the value could be positive and the value could be negative, okay? Importance I will explain further, but right now it could be positive and it could be negative. Keep this in mind, okay? And this is the confidence interval, okay? So now, if this slide is clear, now we'll go towards the next thing. I'll show you guys the forest plot for continuous data. This is the forest plot for continuous data. No, Yasin, in Revman, you can use weighted mean difference and you can also use standard mean difference. Look at this example. I've used standard mean difference over here, okay? You can use any of these in Revman. Okay, so now this is a forest plot for continuous data. Now I want you guys to tell me a basic difference which you might note over here compared to a dichotomous data forest plot. Can you guys tell me one very basic difference in the forest plot? Just the forest plot, just this part. A very basic difference. Can you guys tell me that difference? Can anyone notice that difference in the two forest plots? I'll show you guys. This is the forest plot for dichotomous data and this is the forest plot for continuous data. Exactly, Taha. In place of 1, we have 0. Excellent, excellent. Yes, you have negative values, and Taha is absolutely right. In place of 1, you have 0. Exactly. So then, yes, and the value can be negative. Obviously, if you have 0, so the values can lie in the range of negative to positive. Okay. So again, why do we have a 0 over here? I told you guys that the dichotomous data, that the effect sizes for dichotomous data are basically ratios, right? They're basically ratios. And ratios are usually intervention over control. So if there is no difference in the outcomes between the intervention and control group, the risk ratio or any ratio will be 1, right? Now you guys tell me, we have mean difference, we have standard mean difference, and we have weighted mean difference. If there is no difference between the intervention and the control group, if there is no difference, so that will be reported by which value? If there is no difference, what value will we get? If it is intervention minus control, the outcomes in intervention minus, exactly, you will get 0. If your outcomes in intervention group are equal to the outcomes in control group, so the difference will be 0. That is why the line of no association for continuous data is represented by 0. Is this point clear to everyone? Is this point clear? Everyone, I want everyone to respond. If anyone has any doubt, you can stop me right now. Okay, I'll repeat it. Unaza. Okay, yes, I'll repeat it. Okay, yes, I'll repeat it. When the values are same for dichotomous outcomes, we calculate the effect sizes are ratios. When the outcomes are same in the intervention group and the control group for dichotomous data, so the ratio will be 1. But if the outcomes are equal for the intervention and control group, for continuous outcomes, you have the intervention and control group, and the outcomes are equal. So for the continuous data, you calculate the mean difference, be it standard mean difference or weighted mean difference. You always calculate the mean difference. Mean difference means difference. Calculating difference means you subtract both the values, right? So you subtract both the values. Is if the intervention group and the control group have the same values and you subtract those values, so the answer will be 0. That is why the continuous data line of no association is represented by 0. Okay. No, Anaya, it isn't the same for dichotomous. In dichotomous, you are measuring the ratio. You are measuring risk ratio, odds ratio, hazard ratio. Ratio is basically division. In division, if both of the values are equal, you get your ratio as 1. While in continuous data, you are calculating the mean difference. You're calculating the difference between both values. Okay, you're calculating the difference between both values. Difference means you're subtracting both the values. If both of your values are same, for example, if your mean for the intervention group was 24 and the mean for your control group is also 24, you will subtract those values. There is no difference. So your answer will be 0, right? So over here in dichotomous data, you are basically finding the division, you're finding the ratio, while in continuous data, you're having a subtraction. And in subtraction, when both values are same, your answer is 0. Is this clear now? Yes, Zona, in continuous data, it will always be 0. In dichotomous data, it will always be 1. Okay, in dichotomous data, it will always be 1. and in continuous data it will always be 0. Amama, Anaya, is this clear? So total should be same for both intervention and control group. Amama, yes, total is usually the same. It could be different. There could be a difference of 1 or 2. It's no wait. No, see, the total can be different for the intervention and control group. Okay, the total can be different because you take the mean, right? Mean value takes into account the total number of participants. So basically, you're calculating the difference in mean, not the difference in the total number of participants. Okay. So it's the difference in the mean, and the mean can be the same and it can also be different for both of the groups. Okay. So is this point clear? The line of no association, why it is 0? Mean denotes, mean is a statistical term, right? Mean simply means average. Okay. I told you guys that continuous data is reported in the form of mean, standard deviation, and total. Okay, the raw data for continuous data basically has the mean value, the standard deviation, and the total number of participants in each group. For the intervention group and also for the control group, the raw data for continuous outcome will have the mean, will have the standard deviation, will have the data. Control group will also have the mean, the standard deviation, and the data. That will be the raw data that you extract. Okay. You guys get it? Any more confusions now? Any confusion over here? Amama, Anaya, Zona, any confusion? Rest of the participants as well. Any confusions? Guys, I want everyone to reply, please. So it's present in mean form. Yes, it is the mean, and the effect size is also the mean difference. Okay, I will go further in this. This is just a very basic concept. I just need you guys to know that why this is 0. Okay, why the line of no association in standard in continuous data is 0, because if both the values are same, so there is no difference, and then that difference is represented by 0 in continuous data. Okay. Okay, so for now, I just want you guys to remember this, okay? Because it will get complicated. So I want you guys to understand this concept right now, and then we will proceed further. Continuous outcomes are a bit complicated, okay? Okay, let's go further. Now, how to interpret this forest plot? That is important, okay? How to interpret the forest plot? Again, just by looking at this forest plot, you can see that these are the name of the studies. This is the intervention group. This is the control group. This is the effect measure. This is the effect measure for the continuous outcome. Looking at its standard mean difference. Can you guys tell me that since this is standard mean difference, what do you guys think? The outcome did the outcome have units that were interchangeable, or was the outcome measured on a scale? Can you guys tell me? Looking at the effect size, what kind of outcome was it? It was a non-convertible outcome. Exactly. The outcome was measured on a scale, and you can see the outcome. The outcome was basically headache relief. Okay, that how many patients developed headache relief. This is basically on a scale of 1:10, how much reduced the headache was. So again, it's like pain. It's almost the same as pain. Okay, headache relief. So again, that is a standard mean difference. Right? You do not have any value, any unit for headache relief. Okay. So that is why you will be using standard mean difference over here. Again, you can see that we use the random effects model. Can you guys tell me why we use the random effects model? Can anyone tell me why we used the random effects model? Revision for the previous sessions. Why did we use the random effects model? Due to diversity. Excellent. Yes, to cater for the minor differences in the studies, generalize the effect. Yes, exactly. And the other thing was fixed effects, right? You could either use random effects or fixed effects, and use random effects 95% confidence interval. So does this make sense to you guys? Do these values make sense? This is the raw data, intervention group and control group. Raw data presented in the form of mean, standard deviation, and total. Okay, the control group, raw data, mean, standard deviation, total. The weightage calculated by Revman. This also calculated by Revman, and this is the forest plot. Okay, aren't we are in institutions, so we might have differences in effects. Yes, exactly, Ahmad. Okay, now how do you interpret the forest plot? Now the most important part comes up over here. I need you guys to be very vigilant. When we were interpreting ratios, we made three statements. If the ratio is 1, that means there is no difference between the intervention and control group. If the ratio was more than 1, it means intervention increased the outcome. If the ratio was less than 1, it means that the intervention decreased the outcome. Okay. Now these statements will remain the same, only the values will change. So if the mean difference is 0, that means there is no difference between the outcome. If your mean difference is positive, that means your intervention increases outcome. If your mean difference is negative, that means your intervention decreases outcome. Okay. If your difference is 0, that means intervention is equal to the outcome. There is no difference, right? If your mean difference is positive, that means your intervention increases outcome. If your mean difference is negative, that means your intervention decreases outcome. Note these 3 sentences with you guys and tell me, are these 3 sentences clear to you? I will show you how we interpret the graph using these 3 sentences, but is this clear? Note these down, okay? And then I will explain it to you guys. Note these 3 sentences down. I hope you guys have all noted it down, those who are replying with yes and clear. So now we'll proceed. Look at this value. This is 0.56. The mean difference is 0.56, okay? The mean difference between the intervention and control group is 0.56. This value is positive. Which means that intervention increased the outcome. MBSR is basically mindfulness-based therapies, okay? So this was basically mindfulness-based therapies in controlling headaches, basically, okay? And assessing the impact on headaches. So this value is positive, which means that intervention increases the outcome, which means that MBSR or mindfulness-based therapies, they increase the headache relief compared to control. Is this statement clear? This is positive, which means that MBSR or an intervention group, MBSR, increases the headache relief compared to our control group. Is this clear? Do you guys understand this interpretation? Is this clear? Any confusion, guys? Any confusion, stop me right now and ask me. This is very important. I want everyone to reply. Okay. Now, for example, my value was minus 3.6. This was my mean difference. Can you guys tell me, what does this value mean? If my mean difference was minus 3.6, can you guys interpret it for me? I want the whole interpretation. Intervention decreases outcome. That means MBSR decreases the headache relief. Okay, that means in our control group, we see a better headache relief compared to our intervention group. Our intervention group showed less headache relief compared to the control group. Does it make sense? Does this make sense to you guys? Yes, Unez, exactly. Does this make sense? Our intervention group decreased the headache relief. That means the control group was better at relieving the headache. If this was the answer, look at this example, minus 0.09. This study, look at this study where it lies. This study lies opposite to all of the other studies, right? Which shows that in this study, basically our control relieved headache better than the intervention group. Okay. If again I repeat it, if our value is positive, look at this study, 0.33, Day et al. The value is 0.33, which shows that intervention group, that is MBSR, increased the headache relief. This is minus 0.09. Minus means that our intervention group decreased the headache relief. Okay. I hope this is clear to you guys. Any question? Amama, is this clear? Anaya, is this clear? Yes, Mohammed Irfan, you're absolutely right. Is this clear? In this case, control can be painkiller. Amama, yes, control can be anything. It can be placebo, it can be anything else as well. Okay, it's something you have to define at the beginning of your meta. Okay. Clear, everyone? Clear? If this is a third thing which we have done over here. The first thing was that our line of no association is represented by 0. Okay, it is represented by 0. Then we saw that. Then we saw the three statements. The first statement is that if there is no difference between the mean. Okay, the first thing was basically our raw data. Raw data is presented in the form of mean, standard deviation, total for each of the two groups. Then our effect size is standard mean difference and weighted mean difference. If the units are interconvertible, we use weighted mean difference. If the units are not interconvertible, we use standard mean difference. Okay. Then if our mean difference is 0, that means there is no difference between an intervention and control group. If our mean difference is positive, that means our intervention group is increasing the outcome. If our mean difference is negative, that shows that our intervention group is decreasing the outcome. I hope all of these points are clear to everyone and you guys have no doubt in these statements. Okay. Now we will proceed towards how do we interpret this final diamond over here. Okay. How do we interpret this diamond? First thing, look at the diamond. Just by looking at the diamond, can you guys tell me the two things? What are the two things we look when we look at the diamond? The first thing is the association. The second thing if the result is significant or not significant. Okay, so again, what are the two things we look for when we look at this diamond? What are the two things which we need to interpret? Can you guys tell me the two things which we need to interpret when looking at a diamond? Please tell me those two things. I just told you guys. Significance and association. Yes, significance and association. Very good. So now looking at this diamond, can you guys tell me? Okay, forget that these labels were also present over here. Okay, these labels are not present over here. But by looking at these values, can you guys label this forest plot by yourself? I hope you guys can label the forest plot yourselves. Okay. And now, yes, it favors intervention. Excellent. It favors intervention. But by looking at this diamond, can you guys tell me if it is significant or is it not significant? Is it very clear over here in this diamond? Is it very clear? Yes, some of you think it's not significant, some of you think it is significant, right? Yes, that's the difference over here. So basically, we cannot be sure. It's not very visible. It's not visible. You guys think it is non-significant, that it is touching the line, but look at the p-value again. I told you guys the second thing we look at is the p-value. The p-value is 0.04. That means the value is significant. Those basically, if you zoom this graph further, the thing is, if you zoom this graph further, then you will see that this diamond is not touching that line. Okay, it's just that we have zoomed out, and that is why we think that it is touching the line, but in reality, it is not. Our p-value is less than 0.05. Again, see, it's very close to 0.05. That is why we think that the diamond is touching the line. But again, nevertheless, it is less than 0.05, which means that it is significant. Okay. Muhammad Taha, yes, you are absolutely right, but I am coming to that point. Okay, just let me let me set the pace. You're absolutely right. Yes, you are, but we'll go to that. That is the next thing we look at. Okay, you guys understand this? You guys look at the diamond, then you look at the p-value. समझ में आ गई बात? Why are there two p-values? This we look at this value. That p-value is for heterogeneity. We're not concerned with it yet. We're concerned with just this p-value. Okay, whenever you are looking for interpretation of the forest plot, you just look at this p-value, the test for overall effect p-value. Okay, you just look at this one. Okay, Agdus, is this clear? Okay, so yeah. Now the third thing which we look at will be the confidence interval. Okay. Now, can you guys just to recall in the dichotomous data using confidence interval, how did we decide that is the confidence interval significant or non-significant? Can you guys just tell me? In dichotomous outcomes, that how did we decide if a confidence interval was significant or non-significant? Crossing one line or not. If it includes one, it's not significant. Yes, exactly. Very good. You guys remember it. Excellent, guys. Now, over there, but that was because 1 was the line of no association. Over here, the line of no association is 0. That means if your confidence interval is crossing 0, it becomes non-significant, okay? And simply crossing 0 means that if one of the values is negative and the other value is positive, your confidence interval becomes non-significant. Does this make sense? If your confidence interval is crossing 1, if your confidence interval is crossing 0, if your confidence interval is crossing 0, it means that one value is negative, right? And the other value is positive. So yes, rest of the students also please reply. Does this make sense to you guys? Aitisham, Irfan, Aruba, okay. Rest of the participants also. I want everyone's reply over here, guys. We have 66 participants. I want everyone to reply. Okay, very good, excellent. So yes, so now look at this confidence interval for me. Minus 0.70 to 0.50. Is this confidence interval significant or is it non-significant? Non-significant. Excellent. Look at this interval. Look at this confidence interval. 1.46 to 3.41. Is this confidence interval significant or non-significant? Sona, it's significant. Yes, it's significant, guys. It's significant. Both the values are positive. Now I'll write down one more confidence interval and you guys will interpret it for me. Just the confidence interval. Is this confidence interval significant or non-significant? Excellent, guys. It is significant because both the values are negative. That means it lies somewhere over here. Excellent. Okay, so any confusions now? Can you guys interpret the forest plot for me now? Can you guys interpret forest plots for continuous data now? It's not very difficult. It's just a bit technical. It's just a few things that you guys need to understand, okay? Any confusions? Ask me up. Can you repeat how we determine significant or not by looking at values? Okay, Nidal. If confidence interval is minus 0.95 to 0, then results is significant. It's touching 0, right? If it's touching 0, it becomes non-significant. But again, look at the p-value. Okay, the p-value is the most important. If you have any confusion with the confidence interval, you look at the p-value. Okay. Your p-value is more important. Like see over here, it is 0.02. It's very close to 0, right? It's 0.02 and 1.10. It's very close to 0. But again, your p-value is also 0.04. So both of these values tell you that your value is significant. Okay. Can you repeat how we determine significant by looking at values? Yes, Nidal, the first thing you look at is the p-value. If the p-value is 0.05, that means your results are significant. Second thing, you look at the confidence interval. If both the limit, the lower limit and the upper limit for your continuous data, if both the limits are positive or if both the limits are negative, that means your confidence interval is significant. But if one value is negative and the other value is positive, that means your confidence interval is crossing the line of no association and your confidence interval becomes non-significant. Is this clear, Nidal? How we interpret its associations? Fatima, association again, see on which side the diamond is lying on. It lies on the side favoring MBSR. And if you do not have the labels, then interpret this mean difference. This mean difference is positive. It is 0.56 plus 0.56, right? If your mean difference is positive, that means your intervention is increasing the outcome, okay? So in this case, your intervention is increasing the headache relief. Okay, so that is how we interpret the association, and then that is the association and the significance by the p-value. So it is a significant association. Is this clear, guys? I will draw another forest plot for you guys, and I want you all to interpret it for me now. I'll just draw it. A second. I'll just stop sharing this thing for a second and let me draw it first, and then I'll share it. Okay. Okay, let's go. Okay, now wait, I'll share my screen then. So yes, so now our intervention, I'm changing the parameters, okay? My intervention is Panadol, okay? My control is MBSR, that is mindfulness-based therapies. Okay, I've changed the intervention control now, okay? And my outcome is basically pain intensity. Okay, it's pain intensity. Okay, and the forest plot that I'm gonna get is, this is 0. Okay, this is study 1. This is study 1. This is study 2. Study 3. Okay, so can you guys look at my screen? The size of the box tells you the weightage, okay? You guys can look at my screen, okay? Now, I'll explain it to you. The intervention group, I've changed it. My intervention group is now Panadol. My control group is MBSR. My outcome is pain intensity. This is the, can you go first of all, my first question is that, what will be the effect size I will use for this? Pain intensity, what will be the effect size? Will it be weighted mean difference or will it be standard mean difference? Excellent, standard mean difference, okay? So I have standard mean difference. Okay, now, can you guys tell me what should be the labels on my forest plot? This is the final diamond and these are the single values. Can you guys tell me, looking at the final mean difference, can you guys tell me what my labels should be? Right side should be Panadol. Yes, exactly. This side should be Panadol. And this side should be, yes. Okay, okay. Taha, Etisham and Sonia. Did only these three understand? Did the rest of you, do you guys understand what just happened? Or did you guys not understand? Because I just got 3 replies. Do the rest of you understand why the right side is Panadol and why the left side is MBSR? Yes, yes. Okay. So this is MBSR. Okay. Okay, Mozam didn't get it. Okay, Mozam. Okay, see, so there are people who didn't get it, so I'll explain it again. Mozam, see, your effect size, that is standard mean difference, that is a positive value. Okay. When your mean difference is positive, mean difference is positive, that means your intervention increases the outcome. Okay, now my mean difference over here is positive, right? That means my final diamond, it is lying in some region and it should be lying in the intervention region, because my intervention is increasing the outcome. Irrespective of whatever the outcome is, my intervention is increasing the outcome. So if my diamond is lying on some side, that side should be the intervention side. Okay, and my intervention is Panadol, so I should label this side as Panadol. Is it clear now, Manahil? Okay, Abdus, if Panadol is increasing the pain intensity, then why the diamond is not towards control? Basically, Abdus, again, it is, yes, basically Panadol is increasing the pain intensity, okay? This is telling you that Panadol is significantly increasing the pain intensity, so control is better, okay? So that conclusion is for you to draw. The diamond is just showing you that which side the outcome is increased, okay? So the diamond is just showing you that Panadol is increasing the pain intensity compared to MBSR. And okay, so that is the thing. That conclusion is for you to write that MBSR is a better method compared to Panadol for reducing the pain intensity. Okay? Do you get it, Agdus? So this was, I gave this example because this is the technical part in it. So diamond, so yes, so our outcome is pain intensity, right? In this example is basically meant to exemplify that over here our control group is better. Okay, our control group is better because the interventional group is basically significantly increasing pain intensity. That is why our control group is better. But your diamond will be on the side where the outcome is more, right? Yes, Amama. Others, do you get it? The diamond is pain reduction. No, see, pain reduction is different. Talking about pain intensity, okay? Pain intensity is that how much pain you feel, basically. Okay, so this is the outcome that I decided over here. Your outcome could be different, and then your values could be different. This is just a proposed value. Amen will come to that as well. Weighted mean difference, the interpretation is the same for weighted mean difference or standard mean difference. The interpretation is the same. This, I think you're still confused. See, listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Our outcome is pain intensity. Okay, our outcome is pain intensity. And by just, it's not important that your outcome will always be favored by that your intervention group is always better than the control group. Okay, so this is one thing. It could be possible that your intervention group has more side effects. It's more possibility that your intervention group may aggravate these symptoms. It's not always important that your intervention group is better than the control group. Okay, that is why we do meta-analysis, to remove this biasness. Okay, so now the pooled outcome that I'm getting was 1.67. Okay, and like I told you that if you get a positive value, if your mean difference is positive, that means your intervention group is increasing the outcome. In this case, your intervention is Panadol, and it is increasing pain intensity. Okay, given that example, if most of all of these studies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these first 5 studies will have a positive mean difference. Only this study will have a negative mean difference. Okay. So now using this interpretation, you can easily label that obviously if your intervention is increasing the outcome, so this diamond should lie in the region of the intervention group. Okay. Yes, it means that the control group is better. You're absolutely right. That the control group is better in reducing the pain intensity compared to Panadol over here. But your diamond will lie in the Panadol group because the outcome is more in the intervention group. Do you understand it now? Are you sure? You just tell me if you still don't get it. I will explain it again. But you need to be clear about this, okay? Your outcome, your diamond just tells that which side is being favored, the intervention or the control group, okay? It is your intervention group just not always have to be better. If we change the outcome to death, death is a dichotomous outcome, first of all, okay? So its interpretation, its forest plot will be completely different, like we discussed before last week, okay, for the dichotomous outcome. So that would be different. And then again, this is just an example. It always depends on the data set. What I'm actually trying to imply over here by this example is that it's not important that your intervention group is always better than the control group. Okay, your intervention group is increasing the pain intensity compared to the control group. So you could get these type of results as well. That is what I meant to imply by giving this example. That don't get confused. Don't just label your forest plot thinking that your intervention group will always be better than the control group. Okay. Okay. Rest of the participants as well. Is this clear? Any question, any confusion? Ask me right now. Okay, great. Now look at this confidence interval. Is this confidence interval significant or non-significant? Significant. Great. So I think you guys did understand how to interpret forest plots. You guys understood the labeling over here. So let's proceed to the most important thing, that is next. Now basically we have continuous outcome data extraction. Before we start with continuous outcome data extraction, I'll give you guys a 5 minutes break. Okay, we'll start at 5 again because I want to continue the data extraction in one go. So it might take an hour again. Yes, Mariam, Panadol is increasing pain significantly. Okay, your diamond will lie in that region, but it basically means in the conclusion you will write, if these were the outcomes, if these were the interventions, in the conclusion you will write that Panadol basically was increasing the pain intensity significantly compared to the control. So our MBSR is better in reducing pain intensity compared to Panadol. Okay, I'll give you guys a 2 to 3 minutes break, a quick break. I'll just have some water till then, and then we will start with continuous outcome data extraction. Again, I want you guys to drink some water as well, because this is something that is very technical. You guys need to understand it very clearly before we proceed.